not anybody's favorite.
We technically have a minute here, 7 o'clock. All right, we'd like to welcome everyone to the City of Oneonta Housing and Zoning Board of Appeals for our regularly scheduled August meeting. Chair, to call the roll, please.
Chair May,
Here.
Vice Chair Tomato,
Here.
Commissioner Beck,
Here.
Commissioner Friedman,
Here.
Commissioner Reese,
Here.
Commissioner Montanti. Here. Councilmember After. You have a quorum?
Great, thank you. First order of business would be the approval of the minutes of our June 23rd meeting. Does anyone on the board have any additions, corrections, or deletions? Hearing none, I'd look for a motion to approve the June 23rd meeting minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Where's the button for the electric chair over there?
Not connected yet.
Not yet connected here. So you've got a second on that?
Yes. Commissioner Tomato,
Any further comments? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Chair May,
Aye.
Vice Chair Tomato,
Aye.
Commissioner Beck,
Aye.
Commissioner Friedman,
Yes.
Commissioner Reese,
Abstain.
Commissioner Montanti. Aye. Passes.
Perfect. Any correspondence?
None.
Hearing none, we'll move on to the first order of new business. Item number 1 on the agenda, wrap signs. Property is 12 Ford Avenue. Who's here representing that application?
I am. My name is Corinne. I am. the
How are you?
salesman. Doing well. How are you?
Well, thank you.
So I'm the saleswoman and project manager at Rap Science. I'm here with Rich from the Unitarian Universal Society. They're requesting to install a second sign on the property. It would be a 3rd generation sign. They've had 2 previous versions to display their messages. Positive, uplifting messages to the community. This version, they decided to go more environmentally friendly and use solar lighting for the inside. They have this be a dull lighting, but enough, visible, nothing too bright, no beacons. But they wanted to go this route versus an electronic message board because we feel like they're more unsightly for what the society is trying to project. But we feel like it'd be a good addition to the property, an addition to the community in the city as well. So we're asking for a variance to approve that second sign.
Okay. Peter, any questions for the applicant?
Nope, none.
Jeff?
No.
Jim?
There's gonna be 3 signs now?
So the green one is what is being replaced.
Okay,
Yes, that is the 2nd generation.
all right.
So we're doing a more up-to-date, clean. We'll be able to put in, there's a port board in the back so they can change the messages out as they need to. And just have 4 LEDs on the sides to illuminate it inside.
And is that the current location? You're not just switching
Correct.
them? You're just
Yes, where it is going to be the current location. The other one was a little too close to the road.
Okay.
We're going to set it
Do
back
you
a little
have
bit.
this?
No.
Well, that has not been submitted.
No.
Okay. So are you aware that there is a seeker compliance requirement for this application?
Hey, what, sir?
Seeker compliance.
A secret, what does that mean, sir?
It's the state environmental quality review
Okay.
that we're required to pass on in order to allow this should you get a variance.
Okay.
You think we could do it right now? Do you have a blank?
I can pull it up in 2 seconds. It's decided to restart.
All right, so while you're doing that, is it any board members object to us going ahead and doing the seeker?
No.
Peter?
No. No.
So when you get it up, you can just ask the questions and we will answer them. Hey, Steve.
It's 12 Ford Avenue, correct? RAPT. Your phone number.
607
Okay.
656 8167.
And a good email address.
Signs@ratsigns.com.
Address.
3979. State Route 206. GRD, yeah. 137.
Yeah, I would just say this.
Whenever you're ready, Chair.
All right. Hang on for 1 second, Karen. Just had a sidebar here with a code enforcement officer, and I think he's considering this a type 2 action and no additional work is required by us. Well, the record will reflect that. So that takes one bit of information off. So if there's no questions for the applicant, is anyone willing to make a motion to either approve or deny?
I approve. I make a motion to approve.
You confuse your former job. Is there a second to that motion to approve the application? Is there any further discussions, comments, questions? Is there anyone in the audience who wants to speak to this application? Mum's the word. Call the roll, please.
Chair May,
Aye.
Vice Chair Tomino,
Aye.
Commissioner Beck, Commissioner Friedman,
Yes.
Commissioner Reese,
Aye.
Commissioner Montanti. Aye. Passes.
So you can get your signed permit from the code enforcement office.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you for your time. Appreciate you coming in. All right, the next item on the agenda is 20, let's see, two College Park.
Yeah.
And who is here representing that application?
Michael Ranieri.
Renee, how are you this evening? Would you please be kind enough to explain to the board what you'd like to do?
I'd like to build a single family home on this lot, and it's kind of odd because it's shaped like a triangle, and I'm asking for a 20-foot front setback variance.
Melissa, do you have any questions for the applicant?
I don't, but I find that that lot, just a comment, I find that corner lot just seems to be like an odd position to put a house on, like, which way is it gonna be facing?
It's going to be facing College Park Drive,
Okay,
and I'd like to do an underneath basement level, like a walkout basement, which would face Bugby.
okay,
So, you know, would pretty much conducive with that whole neighborhood. I lived on College Park Drive, and every time I walked by that lot, I just couldn't believe nobody had ever built on it. And I had heard that Mr. Fryer was selling his house, and I knew it was a separate lot. So I contacted the realtor that was listing it, and I'm under contract with Mr. Fryery. And if I'm able to get the variance, I would purchase the lot. I'm under contract contingent on you giving me a variance to be able to build a house. There's sewer, water, and gas on the property. And you know, it's a slope lot, so it'd be nice for a walkout basement facing Bugby in the front, facing College Park.
so the driveway would be off of Bugby?
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do, is come in from Bugby, but the entrance, front door would be facing College Park.
Okay. No further questions.
Dave,
Don't have any questions.
Peter,
Are there any restrictions on where the driveway can be relative to anything?
I mean, this will require site plan review before you can approve. I mean, this is just an approval for a use or an area variance. So lacking any actual plans for the property, like this would require site plan approval after the variance is approved. So the applicant would then have to provide a set of detailed plans showing driveway, the location of the house, elevation. But as of now, what we have is a request for a setback request.
So my feeling about this is that coming back to us for a full site plan review on a single family house to be built by a guy who we know is going to build a decent house on that lot only creates an additional administrative bureaucratic delay in the process. And I think our reputation as a community for stifling construction is pretty widespread. And I think we need to deal with that reputation. He's limited by setbacks already, other than the one that we're going to look at. I'm sure he's going to build a design that is saleable. And I know that there are regulations in terms of obstruction of view from intersections that the police always handle. So I would like to do the whole site plan review now. And vote to approve the site plan review and the setback variance. So he doesn't have to come back again and lose more time.
do you have a plan for this property yet, Mr.
I don't
Renner?
have a plan, I didn't want to go through the expense without knowing what size house I could put on the lot.
Okay.
I mean, I understand what Peter's views is as far as that, but, I know the site from, Bugby and College Park, the house has to be set further toward College Park. So this whole intersection will never get any more, as a matter of fact, it'd be more open because I'd be thinning out all those trees that have been overgrown in the V in that front part. So but having to build the house more toward the backside of or the front College Park, it's gonna have quite a bit of lot more visibility here than it ever has. So
Yeah, I personally have no concern about visibility. I just think that it's not our purview because the police do it.
No, I'm not the least bit concerned about that, and I think your comments are poignant. If Mr. Ranieri had submitted a building plan, a plot plan to us, we could have done that this evening, and we could have done the site plan review simultaneously with the variance. Without having any of that information, I'm going to have to think a little bit about how we can accomplish that legally. Jeff, do you have any questions for the applicant?
I understand the concern of not putting the expense into design until you get your variance. That's part of the process. That's your decision to make. So I really don't have any issues. Let's limit to what we're here for tonight.
Jim?
Same.
Just, I guess, one comment. So if you were to turn your house around and it faced Bugby,
wouldn't be any different. I mean, it wouldn't look right because the front, if I want a walkout basement, you're looking at a walkout basement. It wouldn't look right for the
Got a great
neighborhood. The front door
elevation.
should be on
oh, is there?
College Park.
That's right.
Because it's a slope
There's the
lot.
Bugby
Yeah, yeah,
slope
I'm sorry.
lot. So it can only really be going one
Yeah,
direction. I mean, it's, Mr. Ranieri, it's difficult for us to approve a site plan that we haven't seen. as you might imagine.
I don't think he's requesting a site plan approval.
I just
No,
want
he's
to,
not, but Peter did.
right, I understand
Peter
Peter's
did.
concern.
Sorry,
too.
it's,
So
I
what
mean, if
we're,
it was a legal lot, I'd still have to come back with a site plan review, right?
yeah,
we're trying to find a way to shorten that up,
Okay.
you know, and that's Peter's goal, and I agree with his goal. Would you be willing to subject yourself to the code officer's opinion of your final drawing?
I don't plan on building anything crazier than something normal.
Well, I mean, just make sure you enter into this agreement with full understanding of what we're saying. You're gonna present him with your plot plan, and he's gonna say yay or nay. What we're gonna do is give the code officer the ability to carry out the site plan.
That's fine.
You're comfortable with that?
Yep.
Steve, are you comfortable with that?
yeah, I don't know. I would have to consult with Dave Herzig on that.
A yes would be good.
I mean, if I'm within code with my
Like,
plan and I have a stamped plan,
Right.
I'm good, right?
Yeah, that's what I would just have to make sure with Dave.
I'm just saying it would be in his sole opinion right now. You
Yeah.
understand that? That's giving him a lot of power, more than he has. He already has a lot.
I still have to submit stamp plans and he'd have
Right.
to agree with them or not agree with
Well,
them.
no, then the other object would be you come back either to the zoning board or the planning commission then to get your site plan review, which is another 30 or 60-day delay.
I mean, I don't have the plans drawn. It's gonna take me that long, it's gonna take me that long to get that together. And,
I mean,
once you approve it, I just go to Steve with the building permit, right?
once he approves your site plan, he's going to look at it and say that is a proper placement of this building on that lot.
No, but what I'm saying is if you approve me tonight for the variance and I came back 30 days from now with a building plan and you said, fine, the next day I go to Steve with a stamp plan, he's gonna give it his blessing, correct?
Right.
Maybe. I think he would.
So as far as expediting it for me, I appreciate it, but I don't feel that, I'm not ready next week with a set of building plans to have Steve to okay it. I know I'm 30 days ahead. I still have to close on the property, so that's a good 30 days. in your
You got to
state
close the property, then you have to reapply,
anyway. Building permit, knowing, but I'm gonna have the variance for the setback.
which you will deny. And then you'll then have to come and get a site plan review approved, which means another appearance before a city board. So that may put you out 90 days
Why would I be denied if I already have the setback variance?
because you don't have your site plan approved. It requires both. So if you had submitted a site plan tonight, this board is capable of doing both.
Right.
One-stop shopping. Absent that, I'm trying to fashion a methodology that protects the city, allows you to move forward faster than 90 days. We have advertising requirements for everything we do. Yes, Peter.
One of the reasons I would like to see this get approved, the site plan review approved tonight, is that because the common council has not appointed a seventh member, as what happened at the last meeting, we didn't have a quorum.
Yes, sir.
He could come up, he could be all ready to go, so he gets a foundation before the winter in September or October, and we don't have a quorum that day.
I concur.
And, this is the kind of stuff we've done for so many projects.
But we're trying to stop that right now. So
I see.
I've got a proposal out there. Do you think it makes sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, Jeff,
Yes,
Jim?
I'm okay if Mike's okay, with.
I'm good.
Doing.
Well, Mike's already agreed to it
Okay.
and Steve has said, yes, but. Melissa?
What obligation do we have to the community if we didn't approve it through our board?
What's that?
Nothing.
Do we can give them the right,
Yes,
right?
we can.
Yeah, it's fine.
We can do that. We've done it before.
But I mean, to Mike's point, like he hasn't even closed on this. It'll be months before you do.
No, but knowing where I'm at now.
Right.
Be tomorrow.
I have no problem going through the expense even prior to closing for a building, getting a building designed for that lot and doing the elevations and everything at my expense, knowing that I'm good. I'm gonna go to see what a building permit stamped and he's gonna say
Mhm.
yay or nay. And as long as I'm in compliance, I'm assuming I'm gonna get that.
I don't,
I'm within the height requirements and everything else.
I don't think that's a safe assumption. Because we've had so many situations where not in my backyarders have opposed a decent project just because they didn't want it there.
Right, but my neighbors have had the opportunity to come. I've spoke to them. You know, I walked down the street and said, hey, this is what I'm going for. Obviously, nobody's here. And no one's contacted me and no one's contacted Steve with any pro or negative or positive toward it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go ahead and go into contract with the property and I feel comfortable going ahead with, building plans, knowing that I'm going straight to Steve after this. I'm comfortable with it.
Good.
Just mention it when he comes back. that somebody,
I think
There is precedent for the code officer to do site plan reviews under the, I don't know if it's currently in the code, but it was for the whole downtown area.
So any other comments, Louis?
No.
Dave? I don't know. I'm heading there in a few minutes. So Jeff, you're all right. Jim, you're all right. You're all right. All right. Is there anyone here in the audience that would like to speak to this application?
I'm actually a neighbor. I'm not here to comment one way or the other. I want to sort of just.
Well, you're welcome to.
But
We'd love to have your opinion.
again, as long as it's a buildable lot and there's no issues with this eventual site plan and it's approved and everything, I mean, that's, I'm fine with that. I just wanted to make sure that, the lot itself is kind of an odd shaped lot, as he indicated, and it's got 2 levels, so.
It
I don't
does.
know if there's gonna be significant gradation changes, or might you have to do landscape there before you.
No, I mean, it's a slope lot and I want to do a walkout basement, so I'm going to stay with the contour of the property. Obviously, I got to move some
You
dirt.
can
but-
fit it all on top as well, your ranch style. can fit
Yeah.
on That little triangular piece that's on top.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much the design, I'm within the setbacks except for the front setback.
So just if you're asking to push this back.
No, No, it's just the setback for the driveway, so the building can start at 20 feet from the property line
Okay, all right, so you're gonna have the driver go out.
on College Park. Well, excuse me, I'd like to go out on Bugby, but my front door is gonna,
Face, yeah.
Face,
it's a
College Park.
Right.
So that makes sense.
Yep.
Do you mind sharing that with us,
yeah,
Mr.
I
Renner?
think we went, I don't know, get a copy of
it
it.
was the same thing. Yeah, we had it's right
Right.
here.
And if you don't mind, I've got.
Yeah, we've
this.
got this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
I thought you had more drawing than that. No, that's fine. Thank you. All right, any other questions or comments?
No, as I said, it was the only questions that ever come up with that lot. Some of my neighbors have mentioned to me as well. As it's suitable to be built out.
So if you don't mind, I should have asked you this earlier. I'd like you to state your name and address for the record.
Yep, Charles B. Ragusea Jr., and I live at 4 College Park Drive, so that will be my next door neighbor.
It's been my experience here for a long time. Matter of fact, most of Mr. Ranieri's work, it's of good quality. So I don't think you have to worry about what he does. All right, are there any other questions or comments from the board? So if not, I would look for a motion then to approve the area variance and turn the site plan review over to the code enforcement officer. And we're going to consider this a type 2 action as well, so there'll be no additional secret requirements. If in your application one does appear, you will provide that through the code office. Is there anyone that would like to add to that motion?
Maybe.
Yes, sir.
Let's say when Steve talks to city attorney and says, no, you can't do that. I think that perhaps in our motion should be that it comes back here because we've already started the review process.
Okay.
Rather than to the planning
That's
commission.
fine. So if we run into any legal issues with the city attorney, which I do not anticipate, then your application will be returned to this board for the site plan review. But I believe we have the ability and the authority to have the code officer do it.
So Do you have a motion there, or do I have to?
Well, no, that is the motion. Gary's got it down. So we're looking for someone to make that motion,
I so move.
and we're looking for a second on that motion.
I'll second.
So you've got a motion by Peter, a second by Reese. Is there any further questions or comments from the board? Steve, anything you want to add?
Good.
Perfect. Please call the roll.
Chair May,
Aye.
Vice Chair Tomino,
Aye.
Commissioner Bath, Commissioner Friedman,
Yes.
Commissioner Reese,
Aye.
Commissioner Montanti.
Aye.
Is there anything else that needs to come before the board?
In this context,
Sir?
in this context of single family, of single lots that are left over in the city, of which there are very few, I think. I would like to see the city begin a process whereby the city reviews potential development on those single lots, including zoning variances for all the setbacks for those properties that would meet the neighborhood character.
Yeah, I think we'll have a chance to discuss that in the housing task force coming up, Peter. I think that'd be the better place for it to come from.
Good.
And I've had zero luck putting letters from the zoning board to the common council and getting a response.
Yeah.
Okay, if you just make a note and remind me about that with the housing task force, we'll try to deal with it there.
So I'm good purchasing the property. I have a setback variance, correct?
You
It's a
do?
building permit, and I'm good. Okay,
You do.
all right.
Now, whether you're good to purchase the property or not, that we have no comment. That becomes a personal decision.
Yeah.
You know, it might flood and wash down Bugby for all I know. I have no clue about any of those things. But no, you can follow through with the code office now. Okay, if there's no additional business. I'd look for a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
Any objection? Without. Thank you so much for coming.
Is that a record?
No,
No.
no. You don't want to know what my record is.
Sorry.
Gary could probably tell you.
14 seconds.
Oh, it's quite that short,
Yeah.
but it ain't long.
Can I see it? Wait.
Well, enjoy it.
Driveway, for coverage.
Hey, Ed,
Yes, ma'am.
could we have a master list for our board members?